Prepositions in the ESL classroom, challenges and suggestions. Prepositions are often small words that show the relationship between nouns or pronouns and the rest of the words in a sentence. Although prepositions have many purposes, they are often used to provide information about place, time, and direction. When an individual preposition is combined with an object, it is known as a prepositional phrase, such as on Monday. Prepositional phrases can occur at the beginning, middle, or end of a sentence. Prepositions can be 1, 2, or 3 words. Although it does not encompass all of the one-word prepositions, many of the one-word prepositions can be thought of as answering the question, where can the mouse go? It can go over the countertop or under the chair. 2- and 3-word prepositions often need to be memorized, although they often include the words to, of, in, or for. The combinations need to be memorized by learners. Prepositions are hard for almost all learners for a number of reasons. Most adjectives, nouns, and verbs require a certain preposition to follow them, and some nouns, such as home, don't use any prepositions at all. One of the most difficult things about prepositions is that they have multiple meanings and uses. So one single word, such as in, can be used in multiple ways. Sometimes it very clearly matches the meaning of the word, such as the cake is in the box. The cake is clearly inside the box. But other times it seems to have no apparent connection to the meaning, such as I am interested in U.S. history, which can be very confusing to learners. English language learners have additional challenges in learning prepositions. Besides the fact that prepositions have multiple meanings and uses, prepositions are difficult for ELL students because they often don't translate well from one language to another. All languages have prepositions, but they're not always used in the same way. Another challenge is that prepositions are often used in many idioms, which do not translate well to or from other languages. English is also unique in its use of prepositions in that we allow the stranding of prepositions. So you can say, that's the book I told you about. And other languages don't allow about at the end of the sentence like we do. Common ESL mistakes include confusing the uses of at, in, and on, omitting prepositions entirely, both of which often are caused from native language interference, and improperly using prepositions with certain idiomatic phrases, or with confusing pairs such as for and since, or in and after, which has similar meanings but aren't used the exact same way. Idiomatic phrases frequently use prepositions, but they're challenging because, first of all, the exact meaning might not translate directly from one language to another, and prepositions also, or idiomatic phrases also don't even follow the typical pattern for prepositions, which is using at for small places or time, on for medium-sized places or times, and in for large places or times. Instead, learners have to memorize how each idiomatic phrase uses the preposition. Mastering prepositions takes time, so it's important to be very patient and provide lots of opportunities for students to practice and receive feedback on their preposition use. Even with advanced learners, it's an expectation that students will continue to make mistakes even after lots of practice and instruction. But there are a number of things that teachers can do to help students master the use of prepositions. With beginning learners, it's important to focus on prepositions that have concrete, non-idiomatic meanings. This can be difficult with words that include at, on, or in at times, which they will be exposed to, but the real focus should be on a lot of positional words. One way to do this is by using a ball or a different object and having the teacher move it in different places in the classroom, and the students use prepositional phrases to describe the location. It is under the table. It is on the desk. It is between the books. An extension of this activity can be allowing students to actually manipulate the object in partnerships. And while one student in the pair isn't looking, the other student can relocate the object. And they can use verbal cues or clues to guide the student to finding the object, sort of like a scavenger hunt, but it allows them to use the prepositional phrases. With intermediate or advanced students, it's more important to focus on the more confusing or difficult pairs of prepositions. At, in, and on will still be difficult, but these students need more opportunities with identifying prepositions in written text, practicing and correcting errors, working with idiomatic expressions. One real-world practice activity to provide to intermediate and advanced students might be providing them with actual maps or schedules or itineraries and engaging in conversations with one another about when do things take place, or how do you get to a particular location, what route to take, and using different idiomatic expression or prepositional phrases to explain that. Although it doesn't get at all the idiomatic expressions and some of the more difficult forms of preposition, it's a good way for them to engage in a meaningful task where they might actually use prepositions in a real situation. Most of the information from this slideshow is taken from Folse's Keys to Teaching Grammar to English Language Learners, the second edition. Thank you.